Welcome to my channel. This is Mommy with my safari. Thank you for joining me again. For those who are here for the first time, it is a pleasure to see you here. Please subscribe, put your notification on so you know when the new video come up, and follow me on the social media. Okay, let's roll in. Today we are going to talk about something dear to my heart: impact of living with chronic illness and how it affects mental health. I am one among 6 million people who lives with fibromyalgia. It has been over 18 years since I was diagnosed with this illness. Fibromyalgia is the disease that affects almost every part of your body. I live in pain. I have pain everywhere. I can have pain from my neck all the way to my toes. And unfortunately, there is no way to tell unless you really know me, where somehow it affects how I carry myself. But other than that, it's pain. Nobody will know sometimes this kind of pain, how you feel at a certain time. Chronic illnesses are many. There are illnesses like lupus, multiple sclerosis, arthritis, heart disease, diabetes. I was shocked when I learned that in America alone there is 130 million people live with chronic illness. This country has only 300 million people. That is almost half of people. So in every 3 people there is a chance of one person living with the chronic illness. Now some chronic illness you can tell. You can see someone and you can tell. Some of them you just can't. But the suffering is there. Now there are some diseases that are very well managed with medications, with therapy, and people being able to carry their life through. Unfortunately, for diseases like this that I am battling all the time, every day, every single day, it is challenging because it affects different aspects of my life. I have a lot of symptoms that affect my brain. Sometimes I can read something and completely forgot what I just read. And that's called brain fog, where you are unable to have your memory as sharp as you normally can. The way I went to school 20 years ago and now it's totally different. Another thing that it affects my digestive system. I end up having problems like irritable bowel syndrome that I have to live through it. And it affects the quality of life, period. Today I was thinking about one of my dear niece who is living with diabetes since she's age of 5. And I'm very close to her mom, and her mom always talk about how sometimes heavy it is for her to witness her child and what she's dealing with. And I called her today and I was like, hey, I just want to ask you some few questions, and if you allow me to speak about you in my video. And she was like, oh, sure, Aunt. And the first question I wanted to know is, how does this affect you in daily life? How does it affect your mental well-being? That was the most thing I wanted to know. And she said, Auntie, some days you wake up, you just don't want to deal with it. Some days you just wake up and all you want is to forget that its existence. And I could not argue with her, because there are days I wake up and I act out of character completely. I eat sugar that day, I do whatever I want, and then after 5 or 4 hours, I go literally flare. I flare, I can do anything. I have to sit on the couch, cry, or take your medicine and move on. And you wonder, you're like, okay, but why do you do that? It's easy and simple. You're just tired of a battle. You're tired of fighting this battle constantly. And you don't know unless you live through it. You have no idea how that is. Anybody who is watching this, who have someone who live with chronic illness, when they act out of every don't do, all the don'ts, they wake up that day and they want to do the don'ts, just be encouraged. Don't look at them and start judging. Just be encouraged. Tell them, hey, how you feel today? Do you just feel tired of dealing with it? And chances are, yes, she is tired that day, or he is tired of dealing with it that day. And does not mean that she cannot come back to the senses of it's another day, a new day, I have to put a fight on. And then I ask her, apart from the stress that it causes, do you get hope every day? She was like, yeah. I mean, it's manageable. When I majority of time I manage it. Majority of time I'm fine. I do what I need to do. I eat right. I exercise. I take my insulin at the right time. I eat right food, and I manage it that way. Now imagine, since 5, this person is 18 now. So for 13 years, from the time she knows herself as a person, she's dealing with this debilitating disease, and she has to deal with all the fears of what is my future going to be like. So somehow this is something that people don't know how dark it can get when you think about it. What is my tomorrow? Is it fair to say don't think about tomorrow? No. You who is healthy, you think about tomorrow and you get scared. You get scared that you're going to be able to pay your bills. You get scared that you're going to be able to go places you want to go. Will you be able to provide, to give your children security they need? Now I have to downplay that. I'm worrying, am I going to be able to retire at that age I'm supposed to? Will I be able to continue working the line of work I am? No, it's not strange. It's real. This is real. So sometimes you get to feel those feelings comes, and sometimes they're very strong, and sometimes they're very scary, and sometimes they're very depressing. All this is a mental challenge that you gotta have to push every day. How do I stay happy? How do I stay courageous? How do I move along life like nothing's happened? Because when you see me, when I stand in front of you, when I talk to people, you cannot know what I deal with. It's completely invisible. And before I hit those questions, I just want to tell you, it's sometimes a burden to your loved one. To your loved one, they don't even know sometimes how to deal with the person who is dealing with things like this. Being an example myself, if I say I'm in pain and someone starts asking you, did you take medication? Are you okay? What do you want me to do? It's annoying. It's getting so frustrating. And sometimes people don't know how to carry themselves around me. And I feel bad. But I'm asking myself, how do I act the way to please them? I can't do that. I cannot act how to please them. Sometimes they have to allow me to be in my emotions. So sometimes I take time and tell them, okay, if I tell you I'm in pain, you ask me, did you take a medication? And I say yes or no. Maybe try to stop there. Don't feel bad. Don't feel sad that I look annoyed, because I don't know how to deal with these questions you're bringing in. While myself, I'm trying to fight all these feelings that are going in me. So anyway, how do I stay positive? I stay positive because, number one, if I don't stay positive, I get frustrated and stressed out. I make it worse. I make it worse because I act and I deal with it negatively. So what happened is I am completely out of place. I do things that make it worse. I don't go to sleep. I watch TV until late night. I wake up the next day. I'm tired. It's like I just had a war. And then I am gonna have pain for 3 days before they cease down. How do I stay happy? Sadness is a killer to me. I get mad, I get frustrated, you upset me, the next minute I'm in flare, I'm in pain everywhere. So I get to learn how to love myself enough not to allow people to get to my sensitive side, unless very, very, very few people. So I just happen to be like, okay, you know what, this doesn't worth it. Why am I getting upset? And then once I get my senses back, I am calm, and that's better for me. How do I work? I am a nurse, as I have said before. It's challenging. It's challenging, but at the same time, it serves well my patients. Because when someone say, I'm hurting, can I have something for pain? I don't care what I do. I get up, I go get something for pain, because I know exactly what they say. I do not question you. I just gave you pain medicine 6 hours ago. And I don't have that. I really cannot stand those things when I hear someone else ask, because to me, it doesn't matter if she's watching TV. It doesn't matter if she closes her eyes, she's open. It doesn't matter. She says she's in pain, treat her pain. That's how I look at my patients. because I really truly know what it is like to be in pain and have doubts in people's eyes. It's just, it's the most painful scenario mentally. So that's it. My patients give me courage. My patients, these are people who are suffering more than I do, and they depend on me. So no matter how I feel at certain time, they still depend on me. So I have to find courage, to find strength within myself. But the most key thing is God. I don't think if I would have done how much I've done, go through 2 pregnancies, go through children without even a epidural, subject for another time, but go through all I have gone through, it would have never happened if it was not for God. If it was not for me depending on Him, I depend on God more than anything. So praying and keep pushing. Those are another thing is I stay positive. I've told myself time and time again, I will never let it win over. It cannot win over me. And that is a constant reminder every day. So if you have your mom, your aunt, or anybody who is dealing with chronic pain, encourage them to speak to that pain sometimes. Sometimes it takes courage to sit down and say, no, you cannot win me over. You can put me in bed. You cannot put me in disabled state of being. I do not mean people who all go into these states that they are not strong enough. Not at all. What I am trying to say is somehow, somewhat, in some cases, you have to push it through by talking to yourself, by constantly telling yourself that you'll be fine. I had to learn to say no. Simple. Gotta say no to myself sometimes when I desire to do things that's gonna cost me or put me in pain or flare me up. I had to learn to say no to people's demands. People sometimes will want you to do things that you know health-wise they're not good, or they will flare me, or they will push me to another side, and I'm gonna suffer there. So I learned to say no. And research and read and find supportive groups online. Go learn other people how they live with it. Be positive, be positive, be positive. I cannot say it enough. Be positive. Just be positive. Don't give up on yourself. Let everybody else give up on you, but don't give up on yourself. And if you have your loved one and they're dealing with chronic illness of any type and sort, please, please, please understand them. Understand them, be there for them. This pain and even the fear of the advancement of the disease itself, it makes you feel alone. It makes you feel alone. And if it makes you feel alone, the last thing you want is to be isolated. So if someone is in constant complaint and everything, just sometimes send them videos. Sit down on YouTube. Find something that is small, that talk about the disease. Tell them that you understand. You understand what they deal with. And now if you're watching this and you have it yourself, try not to feel sorry for yourself. That's the worst thing you can do. There is nothing good comes from you feeling sorry for yourself. Nothing whatsoever. It's just making you suffer even worse. Do not feel sorry for yourself. Do not victimize yourself. Don't give this disease your whole self and say, hey, you have me. Fight me. Sometimes I talk about this disease like another person who lives in me. I really do. And it's easier for me to sometimes even have conversation with this monster. I will sit there and I will say things. And sometimes when I get overwhelmed, I even go to social media. Sometimes, well, what's up? And I will post things. A lot of people sometimes reach out to me and say, hey, are you okay? What's going on? I do not worry about what people think. That's another problem. When you deal with things like this, what people think should never be your issue. It shouldn't, because yeah, trust me, I don't care how much you desire to know, you will never know. So it is better for you and you alone to find a few people who are supportive of you and be with those people. It's not that much to be on the phone with someone for 7 minutes and listen to them complaining about this, even if they have dealt with it for 20 years. This day is not the 20 years. The day that they are complaining is not because they had it since 90s. It's because of that day is too heavy, that particular day. So try your best to have compassion to them. and listen to them about that day. If you don't have anything to say, just listen. And when you finish listening, tell them your truth. I don't know what to say, but I pray for you. Or I don't know what to say, but I hope you feel better. And that's enough. Until next time, I hope you enjoy this video.